We'll start with the DRI this morning, so the Digital Repository of Ireland, which provides a long-term preservation and access of Ireland's social and cultural digital data. So it was prepared by Noelia Romero and Kathryn, Cassidy, and Beth Knazook. So I call you to the stage for this first presentation.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to kick it off before I hand it over to one of my colleagues. We have something a little bit fun planned for today that I hope will revive you, wake you up from, obviously the effects of last night's reception. My name is Beth Knazook, and I'm here today to talk about DRI Labs, which is a project of the Digital Repository of Ireland. DRI is a long-term preservation repository for those of you who might not be that familiar with us. We hold diverse digital records from the cultural heritage sector, which include traditional and expected textual, image, and audiovisual assets, the sorts of things that you're really used to dealing with, like JPEGs and TIFFs and a lot of the audiovisual materials we've been talking about in the last day or so. And we also hold research data from Irish higher education institutions related to the social sciences and humanities domains of research. So given that mix of depositors and the audiences that they reach, you could argue that the repository has always been kind of a creative space. No. How do I, yeah. Sorry, I do have a few additional notes that I'd written out for myself, but I can't actually access them.
Moving on?
No, that just advances the slides.
I wanted to move down there.
Yeah, the mouse doesn't go over there.
Here it is. It was on the other screen.
Oh, gotcha. All right, as I was saying, DRI has always been a little bit of an experimental space where the inputs and outputs of research collide. I knew I wanted to say that sentence and I couldn't think of what it was. We subscribe to the idea that preservation is also access, and the point of keeping things is not just to retain a record, but to engage contemporary culture and society with its past. So our keynote, Kate Murray yesterday, said something about archiving, retaining the past, but is really fundamentally about the future. DRI Labs is also about the future. The Labs concept is designed to capture that idea of experimentation and future focus and development. Okay, so the Digital Repository of Ireland is opening what is effectively a GLAM Lab. This is not actually our own idea. We didn't come up with the Labs concept. It comes from the GLAM sector, galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. And it is fundamentally about collaborating with users of cultural heritage collections. So we're breaking down those walls that might exist for some who are a little bit fearful of engaging with cultural heritage because they see it as this monolith that is presented to them rather than something that they can use and they can embrace in their day-to-day lives. The GLAM Labs are spaces for experimentation and engagement between cultural heritage stewards and the public. They exist in institutions of all different shapes and sizes, and for the most part, the International GLAM Labs community that is developing tends to be larger national museums, but they do also exist in small research projects, for instance. The labs don't have to be exclusively whimsical, but we've kind of gone that direction with our marketing here, as you see. And it's because we want to include non-academic use cases alongside the traditional research purposes that we might normally engage. We're looking to build added support for reuse, which will lead to a better understanding of societal and research impact of digital collections. There are different reasons why different organizations might start a GLAM lab. This is a driving factor for us. And so what we anticipate our labs will do is basically built around that. It's about understanding reuse and engagement. So we're looking to do the sorts of things that will help us to strengthen our training, develop and test tools that might be used by both depositors and users, and engage the public with their own cultural heritage and with the products of Irish research. We're going to create content and experiences, which might include creative things like GIFs. We might gather info for user personas to inform how we develop the repository, develop and test tools. We've got an example of a tool here that was developed for depositors to help them more easily batch ingest into the repository. We're going to contribute to documentation of outputs based on feedback, engage the public with data, foster connections across members, and strengthen the DRI training program, as I mentioned. This is actually the first year for DRI Labs. We launched officially in March of 2026, and what we've done so far are 2 events that have focused on widely available free tools. We did an event that was based on adding information to Wikipedia, a hackathon, and we also used a tool called Twine, which Kathryn, my colleague, is going to demo in a minute, one of the games that we developed with this open source storytelling tool. It's all about learning how users are responding to our expectations and then creating guidance that helps them to use the tools that they say that they want to be able to use, that we've demoed with them. It's also an opportunity for us to demonstrate to researchers what good practice and responsible reuse looks like. We hear particularly from humanities researchers that they don't often understand that their research practice is a data-producing practice, but that's largely because when we talk about data, we use examples from the quantitative sciences. There's a lot of value at this point in time in showing researchers how we expect our systems to be used so that it's more of a dialogue in which we learn how they want to use collections, and they learn from us how to build sustainable and well-documented outputs that can then be effectively archived. Okay, and I think this is my last slide before I hand it over to Kathryn. All of this is, of course, feeding into the main goal of long-term preservation, which is why the Digital Repository of Ireland exists. It's not just fun and games, although we're about to experience a game. DRI Labs attempts to address the challenge of understanding the evolving needs of users of research collections with increasingly diverse output formats. And I've got a couple of notes here from a project from the European Open Science Cloud called EOSC Eden, which is looking specifically at the long-term preservation of research data formats. And looking at that sector, we understand that it's not just going to be the traditional audiovisual and photographic and textual resources and file formats that we've been used to that are going to be coming into the repository. It's going to be a lot of creative stuff coming out of the digital humanities and probably some file formats that have been invented by researchers themselves. So we want to be prepared with some of the elements that this project is advocating for, which is paying attention to the community. How are they using things? What are they creating? What are their expectations around how they're using those things? How can we enable access? Not just the ideal version in long-term preservation, but how do people actually want to use the materials? And what are the compromises that we might make in order to provide surrogates? And then the creation of derivatives, the surrogates. Okay, that's it from me. I'm gonna hand it over now to Kathryn.
Thank you, Beth. Okay, so let me advance my slide. Great. So one of the things that we are hoping to do is to encourage people to engage with material in the repository through online games and things like that. So we have a conference coming up in, I think, 3 weeks in Belfast, the Digital Preservation for the Arts, Social Sciences and Humanities Conference. And the theme of that conference is play. So we thought we'd do a game, and we'll have it as part of the activities that you can do during the conference. And this game is going to get people to interact with material from the Digital Repository of Ireland. It's audiovisual material, audio recordings, and there's a little bit of a theme around languages and so on at that conference. So we're looking at Irish language material, and we're getting people who maybe speak Irish, maybe learned Irish at school, maybe have never learned Irish because it is an international conference. We're going to encourage them to listen to some recordings from a digital repository in Irish, and then repeat them, recreate them, record themselves, and maybe create a new collection of digital recordings of people speaking Irish, maybe a lot of them non-native speakers and so on. So we thought that would be an interesting use case and something fun, and just a way to highlight a couple of collections that we have that are Irish language collections. So so you're getting a sneak preview. It's really, we developed it for the conference that's coming up in a few weeks, but if anybody wants, there's a QR code. Feel free to try it. Feel free to record yourself and interact with some of the recordings that we have in the repository. It doesn't have to wait until the DPASH conference. Now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to demo it in a second, but just to explain a little bit about the collections that we're using. So one of the richest Irish language collections in the Digital Repository of Ireland is the Dugan Records web project, and it's got 400 recordings of native Irish speakers, which were recorded in the late 1920s to the early 1930s. They were recorded on 12-inch shellac discs, and it was done as a systematic survey of the Irish dialects around Ireland, and importantly, it includes some dialects which have now died out. So there are examples in that collection of dialects from Irish-speaking areas where there really aren't any native Irish speakers speaking that dialect anymore. So it's a really valuable, amazing collection that the Royal Irish Academy deposited it with the Digital Repository of Ireland, and we're really, really proud to be able to steward that. We wanted to see if we could increase the engagement with that collection because it's such an important collection. We can see that I've seen online people on forums discussing objects from that collection. I've seen somebody doing a blog post where they were kind of going through, reviewing a different one each week and talking about the accent and the dialect and so on. So it is getting engagement, and it's great to see that. But we thought we could get a little bit more engagement with that collection. So it is published in the Digital Repository of Ireland under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial License. So that means we can do some reuse with it, which is really valuable for us. And for us at DRI Labs, we want to make sure that we are, as Beth said, we are responsibly reusing materials. So we're only using materials that are licensed for reuse, and we're making sure that we highlight that and we cite things and give the necessary attribution. We also, as part of the, kind of when we're thinking about the project, we were looking at other collections in the repository. There are a few with audio material in Irish, but we actually had a really great resource that was published, I think, in 2025. This is a Termiocht Buachma Yugatok, which is the digital preservation terminology, and it was developed between the Digital Repository of Ireland and UCD, I think, and it contains individual terms from relating to digital preservation, which have been translated into Irish, and it gives the description, the definition in English and Irish, and it gives the term in English and Irish, and they're terms that maybe would not, there wasn't a standard way of saying them in Irish before this. So this publication that we have, and there's also a spreadsheet version that you can download and get the data, we thought it'd be great if we recorded that and then also used some of those terms in the game so that people can go in. They're going to be interacting with old material from a repository recorded on these shellac discs and so on, but they're also going to be interacting with more modern material that is just topically related to the theme of the conference. So we've got those recordings now thanks to Niamh Nicara of University of Galway. She's an archivist there. She's a native Gaeilgeoir, and she has created recordings of all those terms. And we've picked a few that are going to be in the game as well. So people can go in and they can learn the terminology around their profession in Irish and also interact with that collection. So that's going to be another collection in the Digital Repository of Ireland, which means we're already the idea of reusing has created one new collection because we wanted to do some reuse, and we started thinking about how to do that, and then we developed this, and we are hoping that with the game we're going to actually produce another crowdsourced collection as well in future. So I think that brings me on to the actual demo of the game. So I'm going to have to change here. We already had problems trying to do simple things, so we're probably going to have problems with this. We're doing a live demo. So if I pop in here, no, sorry, I need to use the clicker. Yeah. So here's the game. Sorry, this is. If you go into it, you will hit the landing page. There's some sound in the background, there's some video. These are all, we have citations there to show what we're using, all the images, so the background images on each page, and then the audio files. So if we go into some of we look at the days of the week, for example. So in the Duggan collection, there are several recordings of the days of the week. And we've actually taken those, we've spliced together like all the instances of Monday, Day Luan, and all the instances of Tuesday, Day Mart. And we've put, well, maybe not all of them, but the ones that were good enough quality and so on. So we've put them together. We have, I'll have to scroll the other way, okay. We have cited the sources here that we've used. And we have also given the region so that people can understand what dialect they'll be listening to. And then if we go in, we can listen to now. This is the bit where it's all going to go horribly wrong. Let's see.
Daluan. 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 Daluan.
And we have the transcript here on screen, and then we can record ourselves saying, oh, let's see if we allow this. Oh, I hope it works. Daluan. I'm going to stop. And let's just say, just check if that actually worked. It worked. Oh, okay. Don't mind that. Now, we're not going to upload this. So if we allow people to upload their contributions, but we're not going to bother uploading that. So we also have, just really quickly, let's listen to digital preservation terminology. Oh, I wonder will this work, because I just changed it, so it might not have updated yet. No, you can't. I can't play it here, but feel free to go find the tool, play with it yourself, and you can learn some digital preservation terminology in Irish. But what we thought would be fun is if we all did one together and recorded it. Now, we're not going to put this collection or this recording onto the repository, so. And it's entirely optional. You don't have to participate. We're going to try, let me find it. We're going to try the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer in Irish, because I felt like that's the kind of thing that a whole congregation in a big hall like this might all say together. So if anybody doesn't want to be recorded, or if anybody isn't comfortable with saying a Christian prayer, you don't need to participate, that's absolutely fine. But if you do want to participate, we can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in here. I am going to record it. We're not going to put it in the repository, but we can listen to it and decide, yeah, we can. Yeah, well, I did do a recording of me singing it, actually. But no, you don't have to sing it. We're just going to say it. And the version that's here, it might be, it's a little bit like dialectic, or maybe it's an archaic version. It's not the version that I learned in school, so there's a few differences. But you can say it the way you know it, or you can follow along with the text. So first of all, I'm going to call this Fiat Ifta. And we are going to record it and upload it just so we can listen to it, but we're not going to publish it in the repository. We might include it in the game for other people to yeah. So, now hold on, I have to change spreadsheet, or no, I have to change to another. So I'm gonna start the recording. We'll edit out all this extra bit. Now it's recording. Now I'm going to find this presentation, and we're going to do a couple of test runs. Oh no, I'm already recording. Wait, let me stop recording. So complicated. Okay, stop that. Now, so we'll go here, we'll do a couple of test runs, then we'll record. Good? Okay, so the first test run, I'm going to press play, and then I'm going to bring up the text line by line, and we can all try and do it alongside the author, the reader, sorry. Okay? Now, a lot of times, if you're in Mass, it probably degenerates into a mumble anyway. And so I think it's okay. Don't feel shy. So we'll do a couple of practice runs. So let's all try and say it along with the speaker. Let me go on to the next slide. No, wait. Here we go. So I press play again. Okay, that was not bad. Let's try one more. Hold on. Okay. One more practice run. Okay. Okay. Yes. Ar nachar atar nav, go neiritar danam, go dagad the riecht, go nenter the huller and talav, mar dainter nav. But you don't need to clap for that. It's just a person speaking a language. Now, will we try it one more? Let me see if I can go back. Oh, look, I can do this. Okay, one more time. Are we ready then to try recording? Okay, now hold on, I'll find the recording screen. And I think we're still just about in time, so I'm gonna re-record. I'm gonna start recording. We'll edit out this. Let me find my presentation again. That's not it. It's this one. Okay. Ready? I'll change to the next slide. Hold on a second. No. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Stop recording. And now let's listen back. Start recording. We'll edit out this. Sorry. Let me find my presentation again. That's not it. It's this one. Okay. Ready? I'll change to the next slide. Hold on a second. No. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Ar nachar atar nav, go nenter to danam, go dagad the riecht, go nenter the huller and talav mar nenter nav. Awesome. Okay. And that's it. That's all we wanted to do. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm uploading this, so it's going to go into our cloud storage, but it's not going to be published on the repository. So that's it. And I'm gonna close that. And I guess if you have questions.
Does anyone have questions? Maybe just one question. Yep.
I have this question for your presentation at this next conference. Can we vote for you that you win a prize?
I don't think there's any prizes, no. It's our own conference anyway, so it wouldn't really be, we can't really win a prize at our own conference, right?
Any other? Yeah.
I already know the answer to this, but Kathryn, could you maybe tell us how you're using Twine to, what will happen when, we've got this recorded or when people put in their sound clips?
Yeah, so the Twine tool, I didn't really show that. There's a screenshot of Twine there. It allows you to kind of create just, what do they call them, passages in a story, and you can string them together in different ways and have different navigation paths through your story and feature different objects and so on, like there we were playing the audio files and we had images and so on. It's really easy to use. You do need to know a little bit of HTML, JavaScript and stuff, but it gives you hints and stuff. It's really quite easy to use. So we're using that, and we can publish that as just as a HTML file. So at the moment we've published it on GitHub. We'll probably put it into the repository as well. When it creates these audio recordings, it's uploading them right, at the moment it's just uploading them to like a cloud folder somewhere that I've created. And then we will review those and try to figure out make sure that they're audible and so on, and then we might select a number of them to put into a repository collection. We've asked people to give their name optionally. They don't have to specify their name, but they can give their name, and then they'll be credited in the repository as the creator of the object. And we've asked them to tell us where they're from and whether they speak any Irish, kind of what's their level, so that we can, maybe it'll be, rather than just a gimmick, maybe it'll actually be a useful collection of European people from different countries speaking Irish, and we're kind of listening to accents, and so maybe there's some usefulness in that as well. So we're hoping it'll create some content, but we're going to see what comes out of that, and we're going to record it as well. And that the Twine collection, because you export it as a HTML file, or the Twine game, that can be archived as well. So alongside of the audio recordings, we'll have all the Twine assets that we're using in it, and the game itself. We'll archive all of those and preserve those in the repository.
And if I can just add on, sorry. If I can just add on to that. We have a webinar that we did on how to use Twine. So if you're curious about creating your own content using that, it was Lottie Weissman from the National Archives in the Netherlands and Francesca McKenzie from the National Archives in the UK who led that webinar and put the guide up, and you can check it out on our DRI Vimeo channel.
Thank you very much.